Good morning, my name is Ryan McCarthy. I founded KickFactory. We win customers for brands before they search. We work with a great team. We all have experience building companies, selling companies. I sold my first company in 2006. But I think I'm most proud about this one. This one is the most exciting. We also have, Clayton talked about our fractional development team, and these are guys that are going out and they have connections, and they're helping us grow our sales.
Tell them the steak dinner thing.
We also, that's what it's, I'll go into that. We also have a community management team, about 30 part-time employees, and they're the ones that validate our technology and make sure it's called human-assisted AI, or hybrid AI. So let me tell you about a customer journey. It all starts with stimulus. This is something like I got a flat tire, I dropped my phone in the toilet, whatever it is, there's something that happens in your life that is saying, I gotta do something about it. And then you go to Google, you open up your laptop and search and say, okay, I'm gonna fix my flat tire now, I'm gonna find a mechanic or find a tire store or something. And then you're gonna start shopping. And then you're gonna go to the store or online and you're gonna buy the product, and then you're gonna bring it home. And then you're gonna experience the product. This is the customer journey. And it's also where everyone spends all their money. You have Google or organic and paid search. When you open your laptop and search, this is where they make their $36 billion. Then you have retargeting at the tail side of this. After you bring the product home, you have customer service. And then you can have mass media, which is like, hey everybody, listen to me. It's not really targeted about a particular need, a particular person, just making sure the brand is known. So what we really did is we started focusing on what would it do if we could get ahead of this though, if we could beat the customer and start to reach closer to the stimulus, closer to the problem, but before they open their laptop and search. What could you do if you could reach into their pocket and you could vibrate their phone and say, I know the problem you're having and I have the solution? What would it look like if you could be the doctor walking up to the person and saying, with the aspirin, just at the moment they said I have a headache. This is what the future that I want to work out. What we started seeing though is there's a new signal that's new to the age, that people are emoting through expressions. This happens online, this happens on your pillow at night, this happens on your cell phone, it happens everywhere. This is before you start to shop. We'd say when you get a flat tire, there's a whole group of people now that doesn't, when they get a flat tire, they see it in the morning, they want to go to work. There's a whole group of people that doesn't open up their laptop and search for how to fix it. There's a group of people that takes a selfie, and they take a picture, and they have a sad face, and they say, I'm going to be late to work. I listen for that. But it's not just enough to listen, you got to take action on it. Because if you do that, you can go through, what we found is when you do reach into their pocket and get a hold of them earlier, they are far more valuable to your business. They purchase more product, they purchase product from you because you've rolled out the red carpet and told them how to go through and solve the problem that they're having. And so they're far more valuable to you when you're able to get them at this stage of the moment of expression. Where do these signals exist? They exist everywhere. They exist, as I said, in your pillow at night, pillow talk, to your private cell phone conversations, to your private messages and private Snapchats. If you're the NSA, you have access to most of it. You can get access to lots of it. If you are mere mortals, you have access to something more over on this side of things. You're looking for data that people, where their primary interaction is public, is open, as opposed to your private cell phone conversations. It's probably not going to be public anytime soon. Let me show you how this works. So we built this program for Sprint. We listened for everyone in the market, for new carriers, new phones, new anything. We filtered out all of the noise talking about new products and talking about articles, and said these are people that actually are humans that need to buy a product. This person says, I'm switching companies because I'm tired of going over my data. I need unlimited data. This person's in the market. We said, people like Casey Graham have responded best to messages like this. And we give a personal trackable link that they can go through. We generate all of this for. We have humans that verify everything to make sure that the message goes out in your brand voice. Make sure that you don't never have somebody ad-libbing on the fly, that it's your brand, making sure it's all awesome. What we found is that it's totally a positive brand experience. We get like 4 out of 1,000 that say, this is terrible, what are you doing, Big Brother? It just never happens. People are super excited to have their needs met at the moment. And it goes right into customer acquisition. This is lot of times people talk about these things and it's about likes and follows and all the soft stuff. And we're able to turn that into dollars. And that's what marketers really like. Let me show you how that works for a couple different companies. Sears, selling air conditioners. Lifetime Fitness, selling, they're looking for people that want to get fit, want to connect them with trainers, want to celebrate them, that are doing the right things. People are celebrating their brand values. Staples, we work with a lot of things on Staples, but running out of ink at the wrong time is a problem. You can get to them first, you can get to them and get the ink in their hands. This is attractive. The value of this, we believe that brands in the future that are going to win are the ones that have the tightest relationship with the customer, and they're the ones that are able to anticipate their customers' needs. All the other advertising you have has a plane of glass between you. It's like, hey, I've paid to be here, but I'm not really your friend. I've just paid to be here. This is you talking directly to a customer, a brand talking directly to a customer. This doesn't happen. It happens to celebrities, but it doesn't happen to us. It can, though. The technology is the way to get it done. When it happens, it works a lot better. We talked about it. It's worth more. Your click-throughs, if you're used to like email click-throughs, like 2%. Your SEM click-throughs are like 2%. We get 76%. This is what people want. Our cart values, when they finally do come, they spend twice as much money because you're reaching them at their moment of need, when they're raising their hands saying, I have a problem here. Just the earned media value alone, if you track this number, it's a 4x ROI before you even get to the dollars. So before you get to the dollars, you're already ahead 4x. You spend $10,000 with me, you're going to get $40,000 worth of earned media value. The big question, though, is how do you make this work? Because we're all familiar with the velocity and the volume of traffic and posts on the internet, and you just can't do it. When we were building this for Sprint, AT&T was using customer service tools to do this, and they employed 200 people to go after the cell phone market, and they didn't get everybody, they just got a fraction of the market. We did it with 6, and we got the whole market, and we beat them 99% of the time. We beat them to the customer who says, hey, I need a new cell phone. We get to them first in front of AT&T. In fact, AT&T called and said, hey, can you slow down a little bit on people that mention my name? Because that's pissing us off a little bit. You're head of our customer service. The trick is you got to hack it. You can't do it by humans. Humans aren't going to work. You need humans, but you also need AI plus humans. AI is just not smart enough to run the show. That was my initial when I founded the company. It's like, I'm going to do this all AI. It's just not good enough. Brands are too important. Brand intention is too important. You got to get it right. You can't screw it up. Sarcasm, the whole bit. You got to have humans that make it work. We employ right now about 30 of them, but we can scale that as needed. We work with giant brands. They're doubling. Like Lifetime's been with us 3 years. They doubled their revenue every year. We're a bootstrap, profitable, and proud company. We own the cap table, but our growth is not as fast as we want it to be, and so we've joined Valley Extends to try to grow our sales, and we're going to start taking in capital now to get to that acceleration point in our business. Here's what you guys can do to help. We are looking for fractional BD help. This is what Clayton mentioned earlier. We're talking people, if you happen to know people that are CMOs or are director of marketing or VP of marketing at some of these larger companies, that would want to get in touch with their customer earlier in the buying process, I would love to do that, and because we work under a fractional BD model, it will pay handsomely to you. Our tickets are high enough and our margins are high enough that you guys can be well compensated for your effort there. Venture capital, if you happen to have connections, if you've had a conversation with someone who says, I'm really looking for a new AI startup, or I'm really looking for something like this, we'd love to get introduced to people with particular synergies. And then media and conferences. The reality is I'm a secret weapon. I work for giant brands, but they're not bragging about we're the ones that power it. They don't want to say that. We're the secret weapon behind the guy. And I would love to be a public secret weapon. So if you have connections to conferences, journalists, bloggers, something that would help us get the word out, that's a big goal for me. That's what I got.
Thank you. Because I let Lucas go long, I let you go long too. You were about 2 minutes over as well, but it's very interesting. So you already answered the question, how can the community help you? So I'll open it up to general questions. Who's got a question?
So you mentioned how you're mixing AI with real customer service. How specific can you get in your responses? So if someone has like a really specific problem and more than just like, oh, come in to Sprint? How can you solve those specifics?
Right. So we build specific campaigns for specific types of problems. We don't cover yet maybe every corner case. Even when we do the customer service side, which is, we do a little bit of tier 1 customer support stuff, but that's mostly, tier 1 customer support is, are you open now? What hours are you open? Do you have one near me? Where are your locations? Those kind of things are the big volume, and actually that's what takes the bulk of your customer service team's time, is answering these really dumb questions that they could Google. It's shocking though how many people tweet about Lifetime Fitness. Where are you located? I don't understand the world that this is, but you can Google the same thing and it would tell you. But they've chosen to operate a little differently.
But it sounds like they're getting a response.
They will for Lifetime. They will for my customers.
So it seems that you have an opportunity to move. I mean, you mentioned media conferences and stuff, but actually speaking to the big media players in the world. So the ones that are controlling the search marketing, the ones that are controlling the SEO, and how you as a company maybe augment their offerings, and how you get in bed with them to then have a bigger seat at the table for those conversations at multi-agency meetings, because that seems to be an opportunity to actually say, well, we're not just powering this in the background, but we're actually on the forefront of the media industry. Because if you want to have that bigger conversation, then you have to be with where the big players are and where the big bucks are being spent, and that's where the media agencies are, right?
Help me understand this. So you mean like, so let's talk to a Wonderman, or what do you mean by?
Yeah, I mean, you talk to a Mindshare, or Wonderman's more of a creative agency, but Mindshare and the big kind of like media buying agencies of the world, and how you fit into there to take their kind of broadcast stream and then take it into a more specific stream.
I think there could definitely be some opportunity there. Traditional ad buying is saying, okay, I have an inventory of 7 million people that need new tires this month. How many of those do you want to buy? And you go in and you buy them. We could go along with that and say, hey, there's 7 million people on Google, but there's 700,000 on Twitter and Instagram and whatever.
Yeah.
And let's add this to your pile.
The 50% of the marketing that doesn't work, that David Ogilvy's statement, suggests that in those media agencies, that 50% that they don't know which side is working, they have a huge budget that would offer you the opportunity to scale and show a greater ROI in that space. So maybe looking at those connections. And then my question to you is, being here in Sacramento, you don't necessarily have an opportunity to speak to those agencies in the same way. Does that then mean that you need to move to the Valley or San Francisco or LA or New York or Boulder or the big hubs of advertising that are here in the US, or Portland or Seattle, rather than necessarily here? How does that relationship work?
So our headquarters is actually in Chicago, and
okay.
So we do. There's plenty of giant agencies in Chicago, and we have regular conversations with them. We kind of have a little hit and miss agency experience so far. I'd love to chat with you about it later, where sometimes agencies want to pitch things that are their products because that's where they make their margins on more than anything else, or their ad buys of something else. So far, we see more wet blankets on agencies. The brands are like, we're stoked about it, and then as soon as they bring the agency in, they're like, well, we didn't invent this product. We didn't come up with this product. It's probably terrible. We got a little tension like that, but if you know maybe ways to overcome those objections and maybe engage those relationships a little more better, I'm all ears.
Okay, chat there.
Back with like the agency idea, would it work for you to partner with agencies and have them offer KickFactory as like a product of theirs or like a service for them? Would they work with these bigger companies?
Yes, we've done projects like that in the past where we are the kind of white label. The brand doesn't know about us, but the agency does, and they say, hey, I just need to. I'm going to get a call from the boss, and they're going to say, why didn't you respond to this customer? And I need to know everything happened, but I don't want to tell the customer you exist. It's kind of hard for us, but we're open to growing. We'd be happy to white label. We've done it in the past. We integrate with Slack and all sorts of data integrations to make it all work.
Right. do you want to speak real quick to the trade desk stuff? And how, I mean, that's a marketplace even before the agency buy all of their data from trade desk. So partnering these guys up with a trade desk and retargeting firms and things like that, you automatically can onboard some agencies and some of the players
Right.
there.
So what we're doing, essentially we're creating brains that are tremendous engines that say, I know how to identify people that have flat tires or people that drop their phones in the toilet. Whatever the algorithm is going to be tuned for by the brand, I need people that vote a certain way. Whatever, this is what our algorithm finds out. But when we create these brains, these AI engines that can assess propensity at a particular product, we can sell that data to the brand directly, but we can also sell it to data warehouses and marketplaces. You mentioned one where they go out and say, I want to talk to everyone who is in the market for cell phones in the past month, and just include that in their tailored audience ad buys. So that's ways we're trying to use the data in ways that we're not currently use it, but it's valuable to other people. Lucas?
Currently have 30 heads, is that right?
Yeah, it grows and changes over time.
How do you see that scaling? Is it is it going to directly scale proportional to revenue, or do you see that? I'm just curious to get your thoughts. Do you think is the AI going to get smarter, so that ratio is going to go down, or is it going to go down because of other factors?
Yeah, so we measure cost per handle. It's our cost per human interaction, essentially. And we see that interaction go down. It was 10 cents in the beginning, now it's more like 3 cents. On certain interactions, we have it down to a penny. So yeah, we're seeing tremendous growth in how efficient how we can make our humans more efficient, and how we can make the AI more efficient, both ways. Yeah, so we expect revenue certainly to grow much faster than our expenses with.
Largely because of the AI and then systems with humans.
No, you could probably be dumb, and the margins are safe enough that you can make that work. It just makes more sense to us to make it more efficient.
Yeah. On the human side, you talked about you respond in brand voice and that sort of thing. And that can take training of the people to understand that. Do you have like certain people are working with certain brands, or is there like a group of people that just something, they get a ping and they decide how to deal with it? And then the other question is, where do those people work?
Right.
So
Good question.
curious.
So I'll answer that one first. Virtually all of our employees are stay-at-home moms. We have a couple guys, but it's pretty much all women. And actually, they score faster on the tests. We have these tests and do better.
They're more empathetic.
Well, I don't know. I think they read faster than the men. There's some women that I've watched do this, and I see them go faster than I can even read it. I can't comprehend what's being said, and they're just already past it. So there's some skill out there at these people. But so they're all mostly stay-at-home moms. They work 2 to 4 hour shifts, sometimes just an hour shift, and then come back a little later, depending on what they can fit in their schedule. If you did it too long, it's probably not healthy, and just mind-numbing. As far as being trained on particular campaigns, we have a huge feedback loop that goes from the brand all the way to the end person. But the end person isn't the one actually drafting the message. The brand works with us to craft messages that are all in brand voice around particular needs that have tons of variables in them, that are a ton of, not variables, but variability, so that none of our messages are the same. It's meeting the need of empathy in the right way. Yeah.
Is there an existing structure that helped you get there? That seems like a really daunting task to write out every possible combination. Is there sort of a school of thought that outlines that process, or how do you guys?
Yeah, we have a process where we say, for example, what life events are your customers going through? Are they celebrating anything? Are they sad about something? How are they feeling about particular things? Do they just have something to break? Are they hungry? What are those things that happen? Because all of those represent opportunities to reach out to customers. Certainly how they feel is important too. Is that helpful?
Yeah.
So 2 questions. The first question being, does your software have the ability to reach out on multiple channels, that being text message, email, obviously replying to social media? And then the next question too is, who is your normal first point of contact within a company?
So the first point of contact is typically CEO, CMO, Director of Marketing, VP of Marketing, somebody that has some insight into the vision of their marketing spend, primarily. As far as the vehicles by which you respond to someone, so what we do is we want to respond to them in the moment. So that there's people that have essentially raised their hand. And if they've raised their hand on Twitter, I'm going to respond to them on Twitter. If they've raised their hand on Instagram, I'm going to respond to them on Instagram. We're looking to build networks to say, this person is really this person on LinkedIn. You could probably reach to them there. But quite frankly, if somebody says, like, I have a headache, they probably want to be communicated on that point of need. They don't want to necessarily say, oh, but if you checked your email, you would have gotten my awesome response. So far, that's been our experience. But we'd love to add it to the drip campaigns, to like once they become users or once they go to the site, like that's what Lifetime Fitness does. They generate this into memberships all day long. And once you do like lead gen, you're basically cooking, you're remarketing, you're getting everybody into their regular marketing flow. Is that?
Yeah, that was exactly. I guess it got more into the drip campaign. So you reply on Twitter, but then do you have a follow-up email? X amount of hours or days later.
We do drip on the networks too. So you'll say, "Hey, how was your experience at Lifetime?" If you'll share about it, I'll give you 10 Lifetime bucks. Those kind of experiences, because now you turn them into an influencer. Now they get to not only respond and say, "I want to get fit," but now they can tell my 707 friends, "I want to get. They should get fit too, and you should do it at Lifetime." That's kind of how I accomplish that.
Okay, we'll let one last question. Okay. Go.
How do you show like the return on investment for big brands, as far as like tracking analytics or like if they're buying?
Yeah, we track it all the way through to the POS, the Sears, coupons they scan. I go to Sears stores and with the scan. I just did a Sears auto. I was like, here's my coupon. Make sure they scan it. And make sure they give me credit. Sometimes they got their own little codes in the booth there. They're like, no, I'm going to enter this one. I'm like, you entered my code. But I'm like, why did you enter that one? So we track it all the way to point of sale. It can be as backwards and like old school as some of the Sears POS stuff. Or Google Analytics and tag managers and things like that. So you can track it all the way through. The tracking this isn't the problem. Some brands don't want to share, but it actually makes your algorithm so much smarter. If you can say, not only are these people in the market, and you've responded to them this way, and they've responded positively, and they've clicked, and they've purchased a product, that can make it even so much smarter the next person that comes like that. So it's really the brand's best interest to connect it all the way through. It's our best interest too.
Thank you, Ryan.